So you've been doing this since 2015, if I read correctly, right?
That's right. A lot of people don't know. I was in another band before this. We never got too big. As a band called October Glory, and we had a radio single out that went pretty good. We had Bobby from Saliva had produced the record, and we were supposed to be signing. Skillet had left Ardent Records and it went to Atlantic, and we were supposed to be working out a deal with them. And I wasn't a singer; I was just a guitar player in the band. The whole thing kind of fell apart one day, and I wanted to. I remember praying to God and saying, "Lord, what do you got for me, man? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I want to." The funny thing is, I tried out for vocals to keep October Glory going, and management was like, no, we're not doing that. And so I wanted to know what I was supposed to do. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to throw my cell up, and you just guide me wherever you want me to go. And I decided to record a 3-song demo with my good buddy Noah Allen, who was my drummer at the time. Me and him started the band, and we had Josh Mills and on guitar back then, and we had Mark Nettles on bass, and we were all the band. So we did a 3-song EP, and management heard one of the songs that was from the old band October Glory, and they said, hey, we want to shoot this to radio. And so we kind of started from there. About 2014, cool. I think we did the demo, and that's where "Can You Hear Me" came from. I don't know if you guys heard that one. It's been so long ago since that song went down.
I can't say I heard that one. I may have heard it, but I'm horrible with names, so I probably.
Oh yeah, me too. It's been a while.
Name. Is that an October Glory song, or is that
no? That was a We Are Vessel song. Yeah,
okay.
We Are Vessel song. Yeah, We Are Vessel song started out with that. October Glory. The single we had from that was called "Faith in You." And but I don't even think any of that stuff was out anymore. I don't even think you can find it.
I was gonna say, can you find it anywhere?
YouTube might have it, but that'd be about it.
Yeah. And now you've parlayed your We Are Vessel into Broadhead Music. Is that the way it worked, or is it two totally different things?
Two totally different things. The thing with me is as we go through this, you realize I've got a story for basically everything, how something happened. So Jenna Parr, you guys have probably heard about, she came to me, her and her dad came to me. I've known them. They're from my town, known them for forever. I knew Jenna when she was a little kid running around. And anyways, Jeffrey, her dad, had called me and said, hey, I want to get Jenna in to start, letting her get some recording done. She wants to have a career in music and things like that. So, okay, great. At the time I was producing some stuff and brought her in, and I was like, she's pretty talented. We worked through some stuff, wrote some songs together, and decided to start managing her. And as time went on, and as we kind of moved in that realm a little bit, we got a record together, an EP together with Jenna that we decided we wanted to release after the demo. We talked about publishing, how we were going to do that. And I had this vision for several years about basically what Broadhead Music Group is today, about wanting to pour into other artists and help them, the ones that aren't able to grow or don't know how to grow or missing some things or things like that, the extra little push they need to get to the next level. And because for me, that's what people have done for me. I've got so many people out there that have taken me in when I'm recording music with them or doing whatever, and just poured into me and helped me grow and helped me to achieve the things that I've achieved. And that's been a vision of mine to always want to do that. And so we decided, since we need to publish it anyway, so we would start Broadhead Music Group. We would start small. I would work with artists. Jeffrey would work on he would be the promotions manager and promote and do all those things. We learned how to do radio promotions and all the things. And, basically it was birthed out of Jenna Nita Publishing and a vision that I had to help people get that next little push. And so We Are Vessel is not Broadhead Music Group, but Broadhead Music Group does represent We Are Vessel in that scheme of things. It is a separate entity. And the crazy thing is too, like I'm one of those guys. I need to be busy all the time. I can't sit still and be content with one thing. We've since doing all that, we've got Weir Vessel, we've got Broadhead Music Group, we have Weir Vessel Productions, which is a production uh, company where we have sound, lighting, video wall, and all that we put out on tours and do events. We also have Vessel Lighting, which is a video wall and lighting resale company, and we have Vessel Leasing, where we're leasing some buses out. And at one point, I had started We Are Vessel Coffee, but almost didn't have enough time for that one. And so
I saw that. I was like, man, he's doing everything.
Well, you could just brand someone else's coffee and call it yours. That's what all the rock stars do.
That's what it is, essentially. I did find this company, though, with the coffee. I was already drinking. It's Three Avocados Coffee. Joe is the guy's name that does the brewing and everything. And I fell in love with his coffee. He would, when we were up in St. Louis area, he would always, any shows we were on, he would bring his coffee by. And I was like, this coffee is good. Like I'm ordering and all that. And finally I was like, what does it take to brew? What does it take to do these things? And because I loved his mission too, as well. Like, his proceeds went to putting clean drinking water in places where Compassion International is. And I have been a Compassion International artist for several years now. And so I was like, well, this is all working hand in hand. And I was thinking, how could we benefit that more and do some more things? And so we talked about getting some different roasts and things like that We Are Vessel could do. And so we did two of them. He does my roasting, and we have a company that does our bagging and does our prints and everything, and they just send them to us. So there's We Are Vessel Coffee.
Oh, there really is.
It really is. Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to pick some up for Nancy.
Is it strong?
So I have two different brews. I have a Ugandan and a Nicaraguan. The Nicaraguan's a little stronger. It's one of those flavors that's strong, but not. To me, Starbucks strong is just terrible. This actually has this has a great flavor and is a strong coffee. The Uganda actually has a hint of some cocoa bean in it as well. It's not chocolatey, but it gives it more of a dark roast, but without the strong bitterness as well. So
interesting. I know nothing about coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, so.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm so sorry.
It's just one of those things I never gained a taste for. I've tried several times, but just can't gain a taste for it.
Dave
I get it.
Dave can take down some Rockstar, though.
Yeah, I'll throw back Rockstar anytime, but that's where I get my caffeine from. Hey, what are we gonna do here, Aaron?
The Broken Redeemed, the new single
from We Are Vessel, The Broken Redeemed, on the Rock Salt MUZKAST Experience. Rock Salt MUZKAST Experience. Aaron and Dave today. No Patrick's. Notice I pluralized it. Patrick's or Jermaine.
Nor Jermaine.
But we do have James Broadhead from We Are Vessel and Broadhead Music on the line. Out there doing the touring thing, being a big rock star.
I don't know about that.
Driving the bus through the McDonald's drive-through.
No, not doing that today. But it's so funny how many guys always like, yeah, I want to tour. I want to come out and play and tour. And then they tour and they're like, I don't want to tour anymore. And,
it's hard work, isn't it?
It is. It's not what everybody thinks it is. That's for sure. It's got to be in your blood.
It's not all glitz and glamour. I've seen too many bands, that are out there like yourself in the 12-passenger, 15-passenger van, trying to make it to the next date. Yeah. It's touring, no joke. Touring is a tough biz in itself. It's hard work.
It is.
It's the dirty underbelly of being a rock star. Am I right?
Absolutely, and a little too dirty because there's not enough showers. So
you gotta get the Flying J.
And ministry isn't sometimes what it's all cracked up to be either.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I remember when I was going to Bible school, guys are like, I want to pastor a church. And the guys who had been pastoring for a while be like, who come in as our teachers every once in a while, be like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. And so
You know, as a kid, I thought about becoming a pastor. You know, I was probably around 13 years old or something like that. And then I saw all the back and forth inside the church that I was going to. And I went, oh, I want no part of that.
Oh, man. I youth
no part
pastored
of
for a
that.
little while. I youth pastored for a little while, and I would just remember, like, during that time saying, God, please, because a lot of times the youth pastors would move into being a pastor and things like that. And I remember saying, God, please don't call me to be a pastor. I do not. Please no.
Yeah, that's a tough gig. So you're out there. I mean, and we were just talking about how the music business changed, that the money is no longer in the sale of the CDs and such, or the streams. In this case, there's no money in the streams. It's it's getting out there and working.
It is. And I think that's why, you know, touring has gotten a little heavier lately, especially everybody after COVID has been hitting it hard and heavy to a lot of the guys that do tour. You can't make it in streams or anything anymore. You know, I feel like back in, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, you know, your record sales were huge. We had stores that were selling records and things like that. And now you don't have that. It's so easy to get in the streams, and there's just no money in it. So we've all had to kind of like figure out, you know, the record labels had to figure it out. The bands have had to try to figure out, like, how do we keep this thing alive? And now it's a grind again. You know, there is no other income coming in aside from, you know, royalties are not
what they used to be.
Not what they used to be. And you know, you might get a check here or there, you know, for $50-$100, you know what I mean? But and I'm sure some guys at the bigger end are getting stuff, you know, it's got some bigger stuff. But even still, the bigger you are, the more money it costs you to do anything. And so it almost averages out by percents of how big you are versus how much your royalties are, that everybody still has to. We got to grind. We're having to grind, and the grind's tougher now. You know, the parts are more expensive for things to fix things. The van, the bus, the trailers. Let me tell you, tires. I've never bought so many. I have a tire budget every year, because you just go through tires, and it's a whole nother game now. If you want to survive in the music industry now than what it used to be.
Well, I remember Michael Sweet of Stryper posted, I think it was last spring, they were supposed to go out on tour, and they said, hey, because of gas prices and unavailability of finding a tour bus and all that, they said we had postponed everything. And they didn't go out until the fall. And so it's affecting everybody. I guess merch sales is where it is, I guess, to kind of get from town to town.
It helps, but the problem there is you know, where we used to be able to buy a really nice T-shirt, you know, what we buy? I can't remember. I can't think of a nice T-shirt, but like
like a decent T-shirt,
something good. You know, it costs you $6-7 a shirt, and you know, and then you could resell it for $20-25 or whatever. That's what we used to get by. Now those shirts have gone up $2-3 a piece, and so, but nobody wants to pay more money at the table for stuff, and so then it increases your profit. Last year, when fuel went astronomical, you know, fuel in the bus was, you know, it was over $6 a gallon. Well, it's probably way worse for y'all, but you're not going out there to do that. It was over $6 a gallon.
That's why no bands were coming to California.
You can't travel California. You can't afford it.
You can't afford it. I walked into the Quick Trip one day. We got back to Goodlettsville, where we parked the bus at in Tennessee, and I walked in to fill up, and I was like, oh, we didn't use a whole lot, maybe half a tank, and someone go in there and just fill up. So I said, I need to get 800 on pump 8. And this lady beside me, she said, $800? Oh my gosh. I said, lady, I'm not even getting a full tank here. She's like, oh my God. Yeah. So it's
see, and that's what I did last weekend. That's what I did last weekend when I went to the AM/PM. Dropped $800, fill up the tank.
That hurts your feelings.
See, I switched jobs last year, and I had a company car with free gas at the old job.
Oh man,
That was the nice
nice
perk of the job.
nice.
I don't have that anymore, so it's a little
Yeah.
more, budgeting, and takes me a little more work to make
I
sure I
hear
can get
that.
through the month. But so now, how does getting on the subject of the music industry, how does
Mhm.
that affect Broadhead Music now? Do you mind if I ask about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The thing with us, as far as the royalty side of things, most of your record labels, you know, they basically will own your music, own your record, and that's something I set out not to do with my guys, and is to own their music. You know, to basically figure out a way that we could survive without having the pull royalties from, or to own the record and take, you know, take from them guys. You know, now don't get me wrong, there is, you know, there's percentages and things like that. That's just, it's just the way the business works, with management and things like that. I pay into Broadhead Music Group my percentages for merch sales. I paid my manager, gets my percentages as well, you know, but everybody works hard. They deserve every penny of it. And so that's where we're trying to be a little different in that, is the come in a different area with it, and not take the royalties from them, because it's not much already. It's like you were saying a while ago, you know, there was a fee for the guy made $12 and they took $1 something fee out of it. You
Yeah,
know, it's like,
yeah,
it's
transaction
just like
fee or
it's
something.
like a slap in, it's just a slap in the
It,
face. It's like,
it really
you know,
is. It's
and
like,
so
here's
it's
your
like,
tip, here's your quarter tip. Why don't you give me back a dime?
yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of how we're going about it, just a little bit different. You know, we're able to offer, we've got a big in with a lot of different um, places that do our promos and press releases and recordings, and I've got a network of people that I've worked with over the years that I can bring my artists in to work with and do things, and so we get great pricing on things, and you know, and it's a whole different angle. We actually created this record label as a 501c3, and there's no other record label that I know out there that's a nonprofit. And because we did that, because we want to be ministers towards these guys, and who they are in their ministry and what they do. And so we don't we don't draw a profit from it at all. Everything that we do goes right back into the music that everybody's doing, and I think that's how I wanted it from day one, and how I'll always want it. I want to see people succeed. I want to be. We should all be on the same team, and that's what I want to be. I want the people that are with me. I want to be on their team. I don't want to be anything but that.
That's what I say to a lot of the people that I work with or work for, is if you're successful, I'm successful.
Exactly.
And that kind of sounds like the mentality over there. So
same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true, because if you're the head of Broadhead Music, and who's on your label besides We're Vessel? Give me somebody.
Well, you got Red Letter Rising, Jennifer.
Okay. Okay. I didn't want to assume Jennifer, but I was going to assume Jennifer.
Yeah.
But you know, as the lead guy at Broadhead Music, if Jennifer's successful, you're successful.
Exactly.
But if you are signing her to these horrible contracts like record companies do, and just squeezing that lemon for everything it's worth so you can toss the rind out when you're done,
there's short-lived.
Yeah, there's no what do I want to say? What's the word? You know, extension there. There's no life.
Doesn't create a foundation for what you're trying to do. You know, if you can build the foundation with people and it stays stronger, it will take longer, you know, in the scheme of things to grow it and be that. But in the long haul of it, it's going to be better for everybody. You know, and that's the big thing, like you mentioned, that if We're Vessel successful, everybody else is successful. It all works hand in hand. You know, we have really tried to create a team of people that are right-minded or like-minded, and in how we're moving forward and what we're doing to reach people and to change lives.
See, I think that is kind of what propelled this streaming thing starting back in the 90s, is the record companies no longer were grooming these bands or anything to do multiple albums or become bigger. They were putting out a whole album with 1 or 2 good songs on it that anybody would want. And when I would go down to Tower Records and I'd see that, oh, the new Sum 41 album's $15.99, but I only like 1 song on it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go hit Napster for that because I don't need to pay that for 1 song. And I'm just not. And that's what kind of pushed everybody into this streaming thing, I think.
Absolutely.
And the record companies, they didn't know what to do with it. Tommy Battola later said we should have embraced the streaming industry, but they didn't. They were afraid of it. Excuse me. And I kept saying back then, all you have to do is put out a good product. Give me an album I want to buy.
Right.
You know, give me a fold out, show me some pictures, do something special with it, put on 10, 12 songs that I like. And you'll sell me an album. Now there's people that will never pay for an album, but there's people that will. And you just saw it where they were reporting that vinyl sales have finally exceeded CD sales again. So people want that tangible product. You have to give them a good one. And I think that's what just kind of killed this industry, is that their own greed, squeezing that lemon for everything it's worth and then tossing it out. We'll move on to the next one because there's 100 other bands that sound like Sum 41, and we'll just squeeze that lemon next, and we'll keep cycling in this until people just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I don't know.
I can agree with that. The thing is too, like, we're all trying to learn how to be adapted to this streaming thing now, and everything is ran by an algorithm. You've got to meet the algorithm. You know, the streaming platform has become a whole nother social media that you have to operate. And right now the thing is, which will change eventually, but right now the thing is Spotify and Apple Music wants you to release a single a month, so you can stay within their good algorithm that they're going to put out everywhere. And which, you know, I think that's kind of where things have gone. People are getting where they get bored easily. They need new stuff all the time, you know, and that's how they're getting more people to get on their platform, is something new all the time. And so that's how they're,
you know, that I think that's true to a point, because I am a big fan of YouTube now. I typically go to YouTube mostly because I don't want to get too invested in anything that's an hour long, you know, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to go up and do other things. So the song a month, while I kind of understand it from their viewpoint, but really it's no longer art at that point. It's just a product that you're churning out, like those chicken McNuggets at McDonald's.
Yes, it is. Because you're trying to meet the algorithm. And I hate it, and I haven't done it yet. But it's almost to a point, you know, it's hard within us as artists. You know, it's a complete staying true to yourself, but also, you know, your world's wrapped around this, and you gotta kind of fall in suit to a certain extent if you want to continue, you know, being able to do what you want to do and things like that. And so it's a battle in between, you know, within everything, but finding how to do these things with staying true to yourself. I'm probably the worst one in the whole record label about posting on social media and doing stuff. I hate it with a passion. I don't have time for it. But you know, but I'm the guy that's on my guys, like, hey, you got to keep things moving, you know, and you can tell the guys that do, they get a good, you know, you can see the differences in their streams and things like that. With you have a good social media presence. And TikTok, I hate TikTok, but You know,
You
well,
don't
I'm
make any
42 years
dancing
old.
videos?
No. You got I've made a few TikToks. Mine have been either I just take some content, put it together, and make a thing of it. But I've done a few, and I wanted to do more of it because I actually kind of felt a connection with. My biggest viewed TikTok was one around Christmas time last year, and Christmas time's hard for me. In 2019, I lost my mom, my grandpa, and my dad back to back. September, November, December, and dad actually passed away December 24th. And so the holidays are tough for me, and I've shared a lot of that at a lot of my shows, and I found that a lot of people kind of struggle in that same thing, the same struggles that I had. And so I made a TikTok just being real about my emotions and where I was, and gave an encouraging word, and man, it took off for me. I'm not saying it got me up 100,000 followers or anything, but I was like, man, that was great. That was something I like to do. One thing about me is I'm always real. Last night we played a show, and I'm the biggest. My guys hate it, but I'll call an audible in a heartbeat if I'm not feeling it. And that's what I did last night. I'm calling an audible, and went a whole different direction because of the day I was having a rough day and having all these things. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to fake this. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm going to get real and tell you where I'm at, everybody, and we're going to get through this. And so that's the way I was on those videos, and it seems like that's what a few people like. But then again, I ain't got time for it. I wish I did, but just stay so busy that I kind of wanted to do a little more, but I just can't. I don't have time. But
yeah, I feel you. Hey, I got a quick suggestion. I'll get to yours, Aaron, but I have a quick suggestion for you, and I'm 95% serious in this because I've thought about this for this show, because I'm the same way. I will get on social media and I'll read things and I'll comment and stuff like that, but I'm horrible at posting and keeping up with stuff and all that. And I've said this, which is we need like a 14, 15-year-old girl. And I'll pay her like, I don't know, $50 a month or whatever. But they love that social media, man, and they're fast on the keyboard.
Yeah, they are.
What you're saying earlier, I don't think anybody wants, like people who are fake. And I'll see someone post something on social media. I'm like, they got the green screen behind them, and they're almost like, this is what happened yesterday, and it's a script or whatever. And I love people that get on there and you can see just total transparency. Hey, I'm having a rough day, or God wanted me to share this or whatever. And I love artists that are transparent through their music and through their words.
And that's the only way. I think people can people can tell. They might not know what it is, but I think people can tell whenever you're fake, or if you're not being true to where you are. I had a lot of people when I kind of made a little transition from the last record had Without a Fight on it, Lift Your Voice, to this new record that I did called Wait and See. It was a completely different kind of turn on things. Basically coming from, I never was a heavy rock, but coming from rock to more CCM. And, one thing that people don't realize is that, even musicians and even singers and writers have their seasons change sometimes. And, that's what happened with me. I had people ask me a lot, like, why did you do this? I said, well, I honestly went in, I was just getting off tour with the guys from Build 429, and Jason was like, hey, you want to come, let's record some songs. I said, that'd be great. And so we usually have 30, 40 songs in our back pocket ready to record for the new record, and then we'll go through and pick, 7, 8, 10 of the best ones, and that's what we'll put on there. And honestly, we got in the studio and I was like, Jason, I just lost mom, dad, grandpa. Like I'm at a point where I'm struggling a little bit. Like I've actually, and I've told people this, there was a point after dad passed away right before COVID hit that I went out on stage and I wasn't 100% sure that I believed what I was singing about anymore. And And so Jason said, well, let's just start writing a whole new record. And I said, that sounds great. And so we started from scratch, and You Hold It All was the first song we wrote. And there's something therapeutic to me about being in a vocal booth and just recording, or just, you know, putting your emotions down on paper. You know, and sometimes improv things come up in the vocal booth that you didn't write, and it just feels like it works. And there was a line we said in that song that said, why can't I trust what I already know? And you know, that kind of hit me. I didn't even mean to say it so much, and then after I said it, I was like, man, why don't I trust what I already know? You know, I've been serving God long enough to know that He's always faithful. You know, I don't have to worry about anything, but yet I'm scared now. I'm worried, and now I don't even know if I believe that He's for me. And so it was kind of a healing process, and that whole record was really a healing process. Every song on it, there was it felt like it was a different emotion of what I was going through at that time. You know, we started it in right there at the end of 2019 and finished in 2021. And so COVID gave me a lot of time to kind of heal a little bit, sit back and work on this record and kind of really figure out where I was and who I was.
You know, well, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Well, I was going to say, isn't it great though, you know, that we have brothers and sisters in Christ that can help us get through some things, and just, you know, hey, let's start all over again, and I'll come with you, and we'll do this thing together. And whatever,
Absolutely.
you know, how it turns out is just great. And so that's one of the best things about walking with brothers and sisters, that they'll sometimes they'll just, you know, carry you to the next stop.
And I needed that bad. Like, that's where I was, and that's really what brought me back, was my group of people and my family and everything that was around me that refused to let me to believe what I was starting to believe, you know.
Well, I want to do You Hold It All. And you know, because we're up against time now, I want you to come back and tell more stories. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Right
Sounds
on.
good.
Yeah. And where can everybody find Broadhead Music and We Are Vessel?
So We Are Vessel, super easy. wearevesselband.com. And it has all the links to all the socials and all the fun stuff, even TikTok. And you can go to broadheadmusicgroup.com to find out more information about our artists that are on board, booking artists, or anything else as well.
And buy merch too there too.
Merch
Buy
is where
merch.
it's at, brother.
You sure can.
Yes.
Yeah,
Put
buy
some
all
gas
the
in the
merch,
tank.
please.
Yeah. Hey, you know, even if you don't want to buy a t-shirt, if you want to help the band out, take them over to the gas station.
Truth.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, James. And yeah, let's come back in a couple of weeks and tell more stories and talk more.
I'd love to, man. That'd be a blast.
Music business. I love music business talk. So, all right, man.
Absolutely.
It's
Hey,
You
it's been a
Hold It
blast.
All. Thank you very much. You Hold It All. Rocks Out MUZKAST Experience.